Hey everybody. I wanted to talk a little bit about politics. I don't usually talk about politics a whole lot, but I was able to go out and vote early today. And I've been paying attention to social media a lot, and I've been talking to different folks. Every day at my job I get to talk to somebody different. I ride with different people every day. I'm a trainer, and I get to ask opinions. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And with that, I get feedback. And, this year for the presidential election, I was really on the fence about who to vote for. I'm a little crushed about our system and the way it's set up. I really want there to be a viable candidate for a female president. I think that we are finally at the time in America where there's no excuse for a female president not to happen. I don't think Hillary is the candidate for that. And I could be wrong. I probably am wrong. But I've been kind of talking about Gary Johnson. He's, running for the Libertarian Party, and I like what he has to say. I wish he would have been invited to debate. He was not allowed to debate, and it kind of makes me crazy that he wasn't, but I understand. There's a two-party system right now between the Republicans and the Democrats, and they don't allow anybody else to play in their sandbox because they're afraid that somebody's going to take away from them, and that's true. I wrote a little something today, and I kind of wanted to share it with you. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, all that crap. But I wrote this on Facebook today, and I don't know why, but I feel compelled to share it with you guys. Because sometimes it's better to hear it from my voice than it is to read it. If that makes any sense. Because let's face it, most of the stuff on Facebook you just scroll right past. So here it is, my voice. Okay? I'm going to read this. So excuse me if I screw this up, but I'm going to read it. I had to move you guys, so let's try this again. I voted early today. It was easy. I feel happy that my part is done. To be honest, I feel so blessed that we live in a country where this is possible. I'm skeptical if it even counts anymore, or if the electoral college votes are just made up like some people's tax returns. But I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. I debated heavily who to vote for. I really wanted Gary Johnson to have a voice and to be allowed to debate with Trump and Hillary, but it wasn't allowed to happen. I think our present system needs to be changed to allow civil discourse and our options to be relevant. That being said, since it appears there's going to come down to one of two options, I voted for Trump today. I know some of you are Hillary supporters, and that's okay. It's okay to have a difference of opinion. Something people forget? People forget that it's okay to have a healthy disagreement. They're so quick to just fight to fight. They just forget to argue. Sometimes argument's important. Anyway, back to this. I'm glad that so many people have decided to become passionate about politics. We should be paying more attention to our government than television stars, or our government has more impact on us than the people in entertainment do. So why Trump? Maybe Trump isn't the right guy for the job, but maybe he's the guy we deserve. To me, it all comes down to economy. If we aren't fiscally responsible soon, we become a country that is bankrupt. We're already seeing examples of that. I want jobs to move back to the United States. I want a future where our kids have the opportunity to be proud of the country that they live in again. I want our kids to know that you don't have to have a college education to have a great life. Sometimes you just need people to do the work no one else wants. I've had those jobs, and it's been a blessing to my family. I know Trump isn't the smartest guy, but he seems to hire the right people to work under him. That's what a great leader does. They hire the right people to work under them. Trump openly appreciates veterans, policemen, firemen and first responders, and the everyday workers who sacrifice so that we all have a better life. He's willing to say the uncomfortable things about our own government that we need to hear. It has nothing to do with ego as much as it has to do with the desire to make America great again. That was his slogan, make America great again. What was Hillary's slogan? Does anybody know? Vote me in, I'm the first woman. Anyway. Most of you do not know that I had a job in the Marine Corps. I worked with classified material, CMCC it was called. I was at 3rd Marine Air Wing with 2 different group level units. We took our job seriously because it meant life and death for so many people. It's so serious that if classified material was mishandled from negligence, malice, or possible treason, the punishments can vary but are not limited, dependent upon the severity. Not limited. Just depends on how severe it was. Think about that. Hillary Clinton's mishandling of so many classified documents are so egregious, I'm ashamed at our system for not taking this as seriously as it should have. Why does she get a special pass to do whatever she wants? I would have gone to prison for doing what she did. There's nothing about her actions that make me believe that she wants anything to do with making America great at all. She just wants to be the first female president. I'd like to openly say that I believe a female president, and I will see a female president in my lifetime. I pray she is not it. There is a saying that if you're not on my team, you're my enemy. And I think many of us grew up with that mentality. In politics, I believe it's much more complicated because it's okay to become passionate about a candidate up until the point they're elected. Then that position needs to turn to support and move forward. United we stand. Remember that phrase? It's important. No matter the outcome, we still live and work together, for a common goal. We have families to support, kids to raise, goals to accomplish, and they have little to do with who sits in the White House. We discussed a few months back at my church. I go to New Spring Church here in Florence, South Carolina. If you think back, what's the last president that had an impact on your life? What really mattered? For most of us, it has to do with what we did with our lives. Obama was voted in, and many of my Republican friends thought that the country was going to implode. And they might say that it has. For me, the last 8 years have been great, but it has nothing to do with who the president was. It has more to do with how God has blessed us with good jobs, opportunities, good health, I forgot to put that in there, the ability to better our lives through hard work and sacrifice. I had more positive things happen because of my wife, my family, Dave Ramsey, and Perry Noble than anyone in politics. Dave Ramsey, if you don't know, he's a financial guru that writes books and talks about how to have financial freedom and financial peace, and many of his stuff is available online at daveramsey.com for free. He's not an endorser, I'm giving you that for free. It's awesome. I'm out of debt. You could be too. It doesn't take anything but hard work. You gotta focus, you gotta budget. Anyway, I'll get into a whole thing. Perry Noble was our pastor at New Spring Church. He's not now, but that's a whole thing too. I got a video on that. Love you, Perry. If you're watching, get well, brother. Anyway, back to this. We got focused on our finances, our church, and our family, and that's how our lives became better the last 8 years. Facebook is interesting because I can share this. I wrote here, most of you won't read it. Honestly, only my brother Alex will. Hey Alex, love you. Because I thought, as long as this thing is, my brother Alex is probably the only person I know that's going to read it. My wife's even going to skim over it. Love you, honey. For what it's worth, I'm still an optimist about our future. No matter who's elected, let's all choose to make America great again. We can all do more. What if we all got involved just a little bit more? Some of you could run and win an election in your area. Have you noticed that many of the candidates go uncontested? Why? Term limits. Let's have term limits. Let's talk about that. Let's make that happen. Let's see if we can make this happen across the board. Let's all get involved. Just a little bit more. Let's all be kinder to one another. Help your neighbor, a friend, a family member, with no expectations in return. Smile more. Love more. Pray more. Do more. We can all make America great again. Now, I just wrote this on Facebook because I wanted to share it. And I decided to make a video because, hey, some of you guys actually watch this. It isn't going to matter who's president. It may matter a little bit. But we have to change. We have to change as Americans. We have to change this country. You know, there's opportunities. If you feel like you've got a voice and that you can do better, find out what you got to do to run against the guy who's been in there for 30, 40 years, who hasn't done anything. He's forgotten that you're important. I've done that in our local area with supporting a candidate who's not even on the ballot. I had to write him in today. I've never wrote in a person before. But we've got Senator Hugh Leatherman, who has, by all accounts, taken his eye off of his people. He doesn't care about his people anymore. He's out of touch. I voted for Richard Skipper. I actually wrote him in as a candidate. He's probably not going to win, but I did my part. I can go to sleep tonight feeling I did my part. I voted for the guy I wanted. That's the guy I wanted. And there may be plenty of people out there that want to vote for Gary Johnson. And if you do, I fully support you. Do it. You know, it's not a secret that only a third of the voting population actually votes in the election for president. A third. That leaves 2/3 of the candidates out there, or 2/3 of the votes out there that could vote for somebody. You know, and this is the part I debated with the most about voting today was, do I throw myself into that category of all of the people who are so wishy-washy about even if they'll show up to vote, or if they're like, well, my guy didn't get in, so I'm not voting at all. Okay, I get that, I understand. But I wanted it to count, and I felt like it's only going to count this time if I vote for Trump. My main goal is I don't want Hillary. You know, I don't want Hillary. I think she's a criminal, and she should be tried for what she did, honestly. Not because of who she is, but because of what she did. I can't stress this enough. Maybe it has to do with the fact of my job, what I did in the Marine Corps, what I was witness to, what I understand about policies and procedures. We had a giant poster of Oliver North above our shredder. There's a reason for that. He was an American hero. When Congress said, tell us what you shredded, he said, you don't have classification to know. You don't. There's some things you don't need to know. Trust me, dude. I know. There's some stuff I wish I didn't know. But you learn that. Okay? Some things you don't need to know. If you have information about where troops are, where troops are moving, you don't want anybody to know that, except for the people who need to know. It keeps them safe. Okay? So, that being said, don't vote for Hillary. But if you do, I still love you. Hope everybody's doing good. Get out there and do your part. Learn, vote, run for office, do something. Be kind to one another. Love you. Take care.